Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a king, an emperor, a dictator, and a president? In this video, we're going to discuss the differences between these different types of leadership and where they come from, where their power comes from, and how extensive it really is. Let's get started. The terms king, emperor, dictator, and president refer to different roles and forms of leadership, each with distinct characteristics, origins, and authorities. Understanding these differences is crucial for comprehending various systems of governance and authority throughout history and in the contemporary world. So, what is a king? A king is a hereditary monarch, and that word monarch means one ruler, who usually inherits his position through a royal lineage. Kingship is often associated with a kingdom and can encompass a range of powers from absolute, where the king has complete control over governance, to constitutional, where the king's powers are limited by a constitution or a parliamentary system. The role of a king can vary greatly depending on the country's legal and cultural framework. What about an emperor? An emperor is the ruler of an empire, which typically comprises several kingdoms or nations. So, where a king rules over a kingdom, an emperor rules over many kingdoms or nations. The title suggests a higher rank than a king and often implies sovereignty over vast multi-ethnic or multinational territory. Emperors can hold absolute power, as in historical empires like Rome or China, or be more ceremonial figures within constitutional frameworks. The concept of an emperor often connotes a unifying authority over disparate, that means differing, territories and peoples. Dictator is different than a king or an emperor. A dictator is a leader who exercises absolute power over a state without the consent of the governed or beyond the limits normally imposed by law. Dictatorships are often characterized by authoritarian and totalitarian regimes, where political power is concentrated in the hands of one individual or a small group. Unlike kings or emperors, dictators do not usually inherit their positions, but may come to power through military coups, revolutions, or the manipulation of democratic processes. That leads us to presidents. What is a president? A president is the head of state or head of government or both in a republic or a democratic system. The presidency can be largely a ceremonial role, with real political power held by other branches of government, or it can encompass significant executive powers. Presidents may be elected by popular vote or through a parliamentary system, and their term of office is usually fixed and subject to renewal through re-election. So, what are the key distinctions between these roles? Well, first of all, it is the source of their authority, whether it's hereditary or military or constitutional or democratic. And I want you to notice there, the constitutional and democratic are two different terms with two different meanings. The scope of their power, let's look at that. Whether it's absolute, where they have absolute power over everyone and everything, or ceremonial, which is sort of the way that the King of England is. He's more ceremonial now. He doesn't have absolute power. Or constitutional. And that's the way it works in the United States of America. We have a constitution, and the constitution outlines how the president, how the House of Representatives, how the Senate, and how the Supreme Court can operate and make decisions and how much authority they have. Their authority is limited by the laws that are in the bills that are passed by Congress and under the authority of the Constitution. And then the nature of the territory they govern. Do they govern one kingdom? Do they govern an empire of several kingdoms or several nations? Do they just cover one state or a republic? Each of these roles reflects different historical and cultural approaches to leadership and governments. To learn more about the differences between a republic and a democracy, watch this video next.